To absolutely no one's surprise, PlayStation fanboys are continuing to cry over Halo Infinite being a massive success by review bombing the game on Metacritic, an honestly terrible site to judge reviews of a game off of due to its inherently flawed scoring system that converts reviews into a score out of 100 no matter what the actual review has used as a review score, which when a game is reviewed as a 3 out of 5 creates major conversion issues. But if you look at Steam's reviews of the game, a storefront that actually requires you to buy the game, is unsurprisingly got a mostly positive rating with more than 100,000 reviews, compared to Metacritic's site, which during the time of the launch had 145 user reviews and sitting at a 2.4 score thanks to the PlayStation fanboys spamming negative reviews. However, due to the insane amount of people who are obviously enjoying Halo Infinite, that score has risen to around an 8.2 based on 2,000 plus reviews. I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty funny to me that even with the rampant review bombing from Sony ponies, the game still has a fairly high score, and obviously has a very high amount of positive reviews on Steam, because to review the game on Steam, you have to actually own the game, and we all know most PlayStation fanboys haven't even touched the game, but that doesn't stop them from continuously crying about it receiving the Player Choice Award, and crying about the game in general, and even the critic score seems good to me. So without further delay, let's get into Sony ponies rioting over Halo Infinite being an all-round major success. Microsoft is trying hard to inflate Halo Infinite's Metacritic score. If not for Microsoft's outlets, Halo Infinite would be 2 to 3 points lower on Metacritic. You know, I have a feeling they won't keep that same energy for any PlayStation exclusive where you can see the exact same pattern. And the ones I'm showing on screen right now are just some of the ones I could be asked to find at the top of the list. I'm sure there's far more like them soon after where I stop looking. Of course, a game that most people are heavily enjoying will be reviewed extremely positively, and considering these people were reviewing the Xbox version, it's no surprise their scores were as high as they are, as almost all of the issues with the game are on the PC version and not the console version. 7 years in the marking, $500+ million in budgets, 750 studios employees, anything under 90 is a massive L. I still have no idea where this stupid $500 million budget rumor started, and I still have no idea how anyone fucking believes it, because it is some of the most degenerate shit I have ever heard. There is no way in hell that Microsoft would have spent $500 million on one single game when they have so many studios working on other games. Also, since when was everything that scored below 90 on a shitty review site like Metacritic considered bad? Last time I checked, you guys loved games with a score around 86. Just look at Spider-Man PS4, Miles Morales PS5, and Ghost of Tsushima. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't call those a massive L on Sony's part. Like, come on my guy, it's not that hard to.
Keep that same energy.
Since 343 Industries took over, Halo games have been scoring less with each new sequel. Halo 16 Infinite follows the same rule, and it is currently the worst rated Halo in history. This is how a milk franchise on a quality decline looks like. You simply have to adore that pure commitment to PlayStation. It's so pathetically cute. If that score shows anything, it's that Halo 5 was rated far too high, and the same goes for Halo 4. Also in the same logic as I mentioned earlier, a hell of a lot of PlayStation exclusives, including everyone's favorite Ratchet & Clank game, are apparently dog shit, which we can all agree isn't true. Also, something you didn't even try to hide, you're comparing the PC score to the console scores, to lie and say that Halo Infinite is poorly scored in comparison to the rest of the games, when in reality, it isn't. It sits above both Halo 5 and the Master Chief Collection. Geoff, we know how this works by now. Microsoft paid everyone for these reviews. Yep, they absolutely did. You know that's totally not something that at least one person in the industry would have leaked by now. It's totally only applicable to Microsoft when their games score above 80, and not PlayStation's when theirs score above 80 as well. It's only when an Xbox title scores above 80 that it's paid for. But in all seriousness, why the fuck do these people care so much about reviews? All a review is someone's subjective opinion on a game. If you're looking for objective views on games, then go look for an analysis, not a fucking review. Or you could just go play a game and see if you like it for yourself. If you don't, then just refund it. Steam has a beyond forgiving refund policy, and the game is also available through Game Pass. Although to be fair, Sony ponies only play interactable movies and more than likely don't know how to download their game, let alone actually play them. It wouldn't surprise me if they had to get someone else to download their games for them at this point, simply thanks to the consistently terrible takes from them. When some journalists say they don't get paid for favorable articles and reviews, but they have stacks of free consoles and items with access to executive interviews on podcasts, you can't bullshit the bullshitter, stop the cap. Well, at least JTech is finally becoming self-aware of the fact that he is a complete bullshitter, and that almost nothing he says is remotely true. And the perfect example of this is everything he listed being not at all why those reviews are the way that they are. Halo Infinite is a good game, it just needs far better optimization on PC, and if news publication sites were being paid off, at least one well-known industry journalist would call Microsoft out on it. Don't forget the fact this same logic applies to PlayStation as well. Another reason as to why this is just total conspiracy theorist crap is because if everyone who's got negative opinions of Microsoft products suddenly began losing access to the ability to review their games and free stuff, people would catch on fairly quickly. It is incredibly hard to hide this kind of stuff in the industry. I think the Halo Infinite campaign reviews are honest, but the scores are paid. I mean, you really can't make this shit up. Some people really are beyond help. If Microsoft were to buy scores, they buy reviews as well, because they are tied together. They aren't separate things. If you think the reviews are honest, then how the fuck do you think the scores aren't? They, for the most part, usually match whatever the reviewer is saying. It's like me saying Microsoft paid for the reviews, but not the scores. It makes literally no sense in the slightest. From what I've heard, it's an 8. Oh, the horror. A game is an 8 out of 10? It must be awful. I'd ask what the fuck the logic of these people is, but clearly there isn't any. 8 out of 10 is good. Not bad like a hell of a lot of weird Sony ponies are trying to claim. I mean, I'd love for them to keep that same energy for PlayStation exclusives, but you can bet your ass they won't. Everything Xbox is bad, everything PlayStation is good, including Destruction All-Stars. I do not care that this is free on Game Pass. I do not care that this game won the Player's Choice Awards. I do not care that this game has an 86 on Metacritic. 6 years in development, delayed an extra year. This is straight up fucking embarrassing. No excuse. Of course the AP99 is here to complain about pointless shit like how the fucking grass moves in game. You can always trust this man to have one of the worst takes about every single game that's released. Dude unironically thinks that people care about how grass moves in video games for first person shooters that are fairly fast paced. I hate to break it to you, but ain't nobody but you looking at the grass in Halo Infinite for more than a few seconds at a time. Most people are just playing through the game like a normal human being with a normally functioning brain. IGN are just Sony shills. What? How does this prove IGN are just Sony shills exactly? They gave the game a 9 out of 10. If that proves anything, it sure as hell isn't that they are Sony shills. Looks early Xbox 360 era. Hashtag Xbox, hashtag Halo, hashtag Halo Infinite. Just from my gameplay alone, you can very obviously see that isn't how the game looks. Halo Infinite doesn't look like the most stunning game in terms of visual, but it certainly doesn't look like that. Anyone with a quarter functioning brain would be able to understand that Halo Infinite doesn't need to be the best looking game out there, and that graphics really don't matter for an FPS title. As long as the gameplay is good, the game is good. Graphics do not matter, and it pisses me off that there are still people with this delusional idea that the only thing which matters in terms of games is graphics. That blatantly isn't true. Gameplay will forever be more important than graphics. Now I have slowly but surely lost the will to live throughout this video, and that unfortunately means we have finally reached the end of my video. So with all that being said, please do not forget to do all the things YouTubers love to beg you to do, aka check out my Discord server, follow me on Twitter, as well as like, comment and subscribe. So I'll see you all in the next video.